This is rental car number 147. Today I'm driving the 2020 Chevy Express 2500 Extended Wheelbase WT. This is a stripped down cargo van that I actually wasn't expecting to rent. I wanted to pick up, but no pickups at Enterprise when I went to get my vehicle. They had this on the lot and I thought, what the heck? Looks pretty interesting. Let's try it out. So there are a ton of different configurations of this cargo van, so I just want to go over the name of the vehicle very quickly so you know exactly what you're looking at. So this is a 2020 Chevy Express, that's the model, 2500 Extended Wheelbase. Extended Wheelbase means that it's a longer version of the cargo van, and it's the WT, that's the trim level. This one has the driver convenience package, which is an extra $395 and basically gives you cruise control. And it's got a spare tire, which is always fantastic, but Chevy charges you an extra $175 for it. So do keep that in mind. No Bluetooth, although you could get that for 50 extra bucks if you want to shell out the cash, and I certainly would. So when you put that all together, this one retails for about $32,000, which feels a little bit expensive in my opinion, considering you don't even get a back seat, but these vehicles do run forever, and it's got quite a bit of possibilities with that huge open back. You could even live in this thing if you wanted to. All right, so now that I've hopefully cleared up exactly what vehicle this is, let's pop open the hood and take a look underneath, because there's quite a bit of power here. It was surprisingly fun to drive. First off, you should know this is a rear-wheel drive vehicle, which shocked me. I didn't even think they made those anymore. But you do get a 4.3-liter V6 direct injection engine with an 8-speed automatic transmission, 276 horsepower at 5,200 RPMs. Sounds really fun when you slam on the accelerator too. Towing capacity, which is worth mentioning for a cargo van like this, is 7,400 pounds, and your payload capacity is 3,280 pounds. So you got plenty of power to be able to haul around quite a bit of stuff. Now, when it comes to fuel economy, I'm sorry, but I don't know the answer. Chevy does not have it on their website, and my Googling skills could not find it, so I have no idea what kind of fuel economy you get on this vehicle. It's probably not great, but you do get a 31-gallon fuel tank, so regardless of your miles per gallon capability, you probably can drive this thing pretty far before you need to fuel up again. So that's enough with the specs and the numbers. Let's get behind the wheel of this thing and take a look at how it actually drives. Alright, so let's start with handling. Going around these curves, it's actually not bad. I mean, granted, this is a large vehicle, so you can't hit these too hard. And I do feel the back slipping just ever so slightly, but it's not bad. I mean, I'm doing about 35 around these corners, and I feel pretty stable, which is a good thing. Let's do a U-turn. Let's see what the turning radius is like. Oh, that is hard. Yeah, I'm drifting all the way over to the far lane, so not a great turning radius, but I made the turn, which is saying something. So handling so far, I like it. Considering the size of the vehicle, I don't have any major problems with this, and I feel like I'm in control of the vehicle, even though I'm used to driving something much, much smaller. I also want to mention that this thing is surprisingly easy to steer in a parking lot, so at lower speeds. I imagine this thing to drive kind of like a box truck, where you have to swing it left before you want to hang it right really sharply, but that's not the case at all. It actually drives like a larger SUV, which is a good thing, especially for someone like me who struggles to park these larger vehicles. Alright, so let's take a look at acceleration right now. I'm going to go from a dead stop, slam on the accelerator. It's not bad. I got up to about 40 in a couple of seconds. Considering the size of this vehicle, I'm a little happy with that. The next thing I want to look at is acceleration while we're moving. So I'm already going about 30, and I'm just going to jam on the accelerator, and wow. It's almost instant acceleration, which is pretty fantastic. Even on some of the sedans I've been driving lately, you usually have to wait several seconds before the car lurches forward, but this van gives you almost instant acceleration, so I'm impressed. So handling is good, acceleration is good. The last thing I want to look at is cabin noise. So let me be quiet for a second so you can get a sense of how this vehicle sounds. I'm not sure if you can tell on the device that you're listening to this on, but there is quite a bit of popping, banging, and all kinds of noise coming from the rear of the vehicle. So cabin noise is not great. Not only is there noise inside the vehicle, but you can hear almost everything outside of the vehicle too. It's not soundproofed at all. So cabin noise isn't great, but that's probably to be expected. Alright, so that's what it's like to drive the Chevy Express. Let's jump inside now and take a look around.
So here's the key fob. Pretty basic setup. Lock and unlock, and then an extra button just to lock and unlock the very rear door. And then a panic button right here. Let's press it just for fun. Pretty wimpy. Physical key on this one. Let me see if I can grab it for you. One of those laser cut keys. Pretty standard stuff. We're just going to put it on the side of the steering wheel and turn her on. Pretty simple steering wheel setup, just cruise controls here on the left hand side. You get one stalk to control everything, and then a pretty standard gauge cluster. Let's see what you got. Oil life, or oil pressure, excuse me. Coolant temperature. Up here you have your voltage meter, and then your fuel gauge right here. You can see we have half a tank of fuel. In the center we have a very large speedometer, and then your gears right in the middle. Below there we have a very small digital readout, and you have some buttons over here on the left hand side to cycle through a couple of menu structures. So we're going to press this button right here, and you'll see you have tachometer, your odometer, and then a trip counter along with your fuel range. So I can go 301 miles before we run out of fuel. Some additional information by pressing this button right here with the eye. Your tire pressure, engine hours, and then compass calibration. And you can see that compass right here. See the S? That shows that I'm pointing the vehicle south. And then you have a menu structure right here just by pressing this button to change a couple of settings. And then a button all the way on the bottom to actually select some of those settings. And then, if you haven't noticed already, underneath all of the dirt, you have your hazard button right there. Kind of difficult to reach as you're driving, but it is right there. Over on your left-hand side, really not a whole lot of controls here. Door latch, door lock. You have window controls and your mirror control right here. A dial to adjust the headlights, and then a dial to adjust the dome light. Down below, we have our pedal parking brake, the handle right here to release it, and then your trunk release right down there, along with a couple of storage cutouts down below. You can see that one right there is pretty deep, and then another right here. Side view mirrors are nice and large, and you do get two different views. So your standard one on top, and then a wider view on the bottom. I found these to be pretty helpful, considering the length of the vehicle. But I still had trouble kind of getting a sense for things, especially when I was backing up. As you can see, you're not going to be able to see in your blind spot over here on the left-hand side, or over here on the right-hand side. So you're really going to be using the view out of the back windows and then your mirrors. And I found it kind of difficult at first to reverse this vehicle. I felt I was a little bit blind, and I would love to have a rear view camera right here, but not available, at least on this model. So I can't believe I didn't notice this before, but when you turn it on, nice rumble by the way, and stick it into reverse, look what pops up on the rear view mirror. That is a rear view camera. Pretty wide view too, and nice crisp resolution. You can actually see quite a bit behind the vehicle, which is great because visibility, at least for me, is pretty horrible. I really want to see out the left side and right side of the vehicle, and with this you can actually do that. Nothing up top but a dome light. You'll see right here it's completely blank. You also don't have mirrors on the back of the sun visor. Standard rear view mirror, and then pretty standard controls down here in the center console. Defroster setting, dials to adjust the fan, temperature, and direction of vents. Simple entertainment features, just a radio and MP3 capability, no Bluetooth connectivity on this one, and simple buttons to adjust either the track or jump to your favorite station, or you have equalizer and category buttons. And then a big dial in the center to adjust the volume, and a button in the middle to turn the system on and off. You can adjust whether you're going to haul something right here. And then below there we have some power ports. So you'll need an adapter for these two. But then you have this one right here, 120 volts with a 3-prong power port. That's wonderful, makes it really easy to have some toys in the van. And then traction control, OnStar, and an SOS button right there. Below there you see I keep my cell phone down here. We have 3 nice sized cup holders with a small storage container over here. You'll notice that it's already kind of attracting some dust and dirt, and they don't have any removable rubber linings, so you are going to have to wipe this down probably pretty regularly if you want to keep it clean. And then a larger storage area down here. This is where they were keeping the owner's manual, and despite this being a 2020, look at the shape this thing is in. Not great. But all in all, pretty nice set of storage right here, easy to reach while you're driving, but no center console right here. It's completely blank. Let me move my tripod out of the way. You'll see just floor right here. So you and your passenger have quite a bit of room. I can't even reach that seat between the two of you. All right, I jumped over to the passenger seat. Now, I'm 6 feet tall, got kind of long legs. I have pushed this seat back all the way, and I gotta say, I do not have a lot of leg room. I mean, there's probably about, 4-6 inches between my knees and that center console, which is fine, and I can stretch my legs all the way out, but I do feel like I'm pushed forward quite a bit. And considering how much room is behind me, you'd think I'd be able to push this seat back just a little bit more. Also kind of interesting, there is no glove box here at all, although you do get a couple of cutouts up here on the dash to store things, although I imagine they're going to slip around quite a bit as you go around corners. And you do have some additional cutouts right here and here to store some additional items, though I can't imagine what you would put here. I mean, even if I put my cell there, that's got to be able to slip out if we brake suddenly, so I'm going to keep it down there. So in the back you do have a couple of the wheel wells that infringe on the space, but otherwise it is a massive amount of room back here. Really, only thing worth noting is you do have some LED lights up top, 3 different sets. Looks like someone damaged these because they're hanging loose. Otherwise they look like this and give off quite a bit of light back here, and these look like they are extremely easy to remove if you need to. In fact, I'm going to pop this one back in.
So I just realized that I've kind of unintentionally hidden something from you, and that's that there is a side door for this vehicle on the passenger side. And when I rent these vehicles, it's usually because I'm going to haul something, so I'm always curious about the size of these doors. So I broke out my tape measure and I measured it for you. So left to right, so the width of this door when both of those small doors are open is 48 inches. And then top to bottom, the height at its smallest point is 56.5 inches. So hopefully that helps, and hopefully it's plenty big to haul what you're looking for. All right, so let's close things out by taking a look at the back door. Now, when we talk about height, it is 48.5 inches tall, and width is 56.5 inches wide, so that should be pretty big to get whatever you're hauling around with this vehicle. Also, that back step up to actually get into the vehicle, that's 30 inches into the van and 21.5 into that little step right there. So 30 inches into the van itself and 21.5 to that step. Now, when you're inside the vehicle, when we're talking about width, at its widest point, it's 77 inches wide, and its narrowest point, and that's between those two wheel wells, it's 52.5 inches. So that's quite a bit of difference when it comes to width. Lengthwise, it's 167.5 inches from the edge of that front seat all the way to the rear of the vehicle before you're actually hanging off the bumper. But if you close the doors, you lose a little bit of that length. So with the doors closed, it's 163.5 inches, which is plenty long to haul some large furniture if you need to. All right, so that is pretty much everything end-to-end on the 2020 Chevrolet Express 2500 Extended Wheelbase WT. That is quite a mouthful. I am so glad that I got a chance to drive this one. I've been driving so many sedans lately that it's nice to shake it up and do something kind of different. Plus, this thing drives really well, and it was kind of fun to drive around town for a day. So with that being said, you're not going to be surprised that I'm going to give this one 3 stars. Now, hear me out. If you're a big Chevy fan and you're upset that I'm giving this such a low rating, my main concern here is price. For $32,000, I was expecting a lot more, especially considering there's nothing in the back of the vehicle, not even soundproofing. I think this should be a lot cheaper, especially if you compare it to something on a truck frame like a pickup. So I think Chevy needs to do something different, either get this thing something like Bluetooth standard or reduce the price. At least that's my opinion. If you think differently, please leave me a comment below. I would love to hear from you. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time when I'm back renting my 148th rental car. I'll see you then.